All right, so we're back and ready to continue this exploration of Jamaica's agricultural scene. Before we took a break, we were talking about those regional supply issues and how diversification could be a potential game changer.
Yeah, absolutely. It's fascinating how each parish has its own unique situation, its own strengths and weaknesses. So let's go back to those 5 parishes that really stood out in the data: St. Anne, St. Elizabeth, St. Mary, St. Thomas, and St. James. What makes them particularly vulnerable when it comes to keeping up with supply?
Well, think about their location and what they're known for agriculturally. St. Anne, for example, big tourist destination. Maybe all the hotels and restaurants are putting a strain on the local supply. And St. Elizabeth, they're known for their variety of crops, but maybe transportation is an issue there. Each parish needs its own approach, really.
This is starting to feel like a giant puzzle with all these factors influencing the market. It's a lot to keep up with. How can a farmer possibly stay on top of all of it?
That's where the power of data comes in. It helps us see the bigger picture and make smarter decisions. And that brings us to a really interesting recommendation in the report. They call it regional arbitrage.
Regional arbitrage. Okay, remind me what that is again. It sounds kind of complicated.
It's actually pretty straightforward. It's about recognizing and using those price differences between different regions to your advantage. Remember how we saw that some parishes have a good surplus, like Westmoreland, Trelawney, and Hanover? Regional arbitrage suggests looking into moving produce from those areas to places where supply is low.
So if I'm growing Scotch bonnet peppers in St. Elizabeth, where there are plenty, but the prices are way higher in St. Anne, I could potentially make a better profit by selling them there.
Exactly. It's like creating a more balanced system,
Right.
You might earn more, and you're helping to meet the demand in those areas where things are scarce.
That sounds like a win-win, but I imagine there are logistical challenges with moving produce around between parishes.
Of course, it's not just about loading up a truck and driving across the island. You have to think about transportation costs, storage, making sure the quality stays good, and really important, making sure everyone involved is getting a fair deal.
So good communication and collaboration are key to making this work.
Absolutely. And this whole idea of regional arbitrage ties back into the importance of diversification, not just for individual farmers, but for whole regions too. If one area isn't doing well with a particular crop, maybe it could thrive somewhere else. It's about being adaptable.
It's almost like a game of chess, strategically moving your pieces across the board to stay ahead of the curve.
I like that analogy. And just like in chess, you got to think a few moves ahead. So what trends should Jamaican farmers be watching out for?
That's a great question. What jumps out at you from the data in terms of future trends?
Well, the volatility of certain crops is something to watch closely. Those price swings we saw with tomatoes and peppers, for example, that suggests a need for better forecasting and market analysis.
So if farmers can anticipate those price fluctuations, they can make smarter decisions about what to plant and when to sell.
Exactly. But forecasting, it's never an exact science, especially when you're dealing with unpredictable things like weather.
True. So how can farmers try to mitigate those risks?
Risk management strategies are crucial. Things like crop insurance can help protect farmers from losses due to unforeseen events. And diversifying their markets, both within Jamaica and internationally, can help spread the risk.
It sounds like the Jamaican agricultural sector is going through some major changes. It's exciting, but also a bit overwhelming to think about.
It definitely is. But amidst all the challenges, there are some incredible opportunities for growth and innovation.
I'm really impressed by the dedication of Jamaican farmers. You can tell they're passionate about what they do.
Absolutely. And they don't have to go through these challenges alone. There are government agencies, agricultural extension services, even private initiatives out there offering support and resources.
Speaking of resources, this data set we've been looking at has been incredibly insightful. It's amazing how much information you can get from just 90 days of data.
Data is key for building a more sustainable and successful agricultural sector.
And this is just the tip of the iceberg, really. I feel like we've only scratched the surface.
Oh, absolutely. There's so much more to explore and so many more stories to tell.
Well, I'm ready to keep digging deeper. But for now, let's take a moment to reflect on what we've learned so far. What are some of the key takeaways from this deep dive?
Well, we've seen how volatile the Jamaican agricultural market can be. But we've also seen how farmers can adapt and find opportunities within that volatility. It's about being smart and strategic.
We've also learned about how important diversification is, both for individual farms and for regions as a whole, And wow, we've seen how powerful data can be for understanding those market trends, making informed decisions, and dealing with risks.
We also explore the unique dynamics of each parish, the need for tailored solutions to address those specific challenges they're facing. It's not a one-size-fits-all kind of thing.
It's been a really eye opening journey so far, and we're not done yet. In part three, we'll wrap things up and leave you with some final thoughts and key takeaways. So stick with us.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We've been on quite a journey through Jamaica's agricultural landscape, from those crazy price swings to the power of thinking regionally and diversifying.
It's definitely been an adventure. But amidst all the challenges we've seen, let's not forget about the amazing opportunities within this market. It's dynamic, that's for sure.
You're right. Sometimes it's easy to get lost in all the details, but there's huge potential in Jamaican agriculture for growth, for innovation, you name it.
Jamaica really has so much going for it. Perfect climate for growing a wide range of crops, a strong history of farming, and people want fresh, locally grown produce. That demand is only growing.
Yeah, especially with people being more conscious about sustainability and wanting to know where their food comes from, how it's produced. It's a big deal now. Exactly. Consumers want to know the story behind their food. They want to connect with the farmers who are actually growing it. This is a big opportunity for Jamaican farmers to build their brands and share their stories.
It's like the whole farm-to-table movement, but with a Jamaican twist.
Exactly. And technology can make that connection even stronger, Online platforms, farmers markets.
Yeah.
Ways for people to really experience the heart of Jamaican agriculture.
And speaking of those tomato prices, remember those? Maybe that's a chance to get creative with value-added products. Locally made sauces, jams, even sun-dried tomatoes.
You're thinking like an entrepreneur. It's not just about selling the raw ingredients. It's about adding value every step of the way.
This whole conversation has really been eye-opening. It's not just about the economics, it's about food security for the island, about community, about preserving that unique agricultural heritage Jamaica has. It's bigger than just prices.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what are a few key things our listeners should take away?
Well, number one, knowledge is power. All this data we've looked at, it's a powerful tool, but you've got to use it wisely.
Yeah, stay informed about those market trends, both locally and around the world. Don't be afraid to try new things, find new ways to add value to your products. Think outside the box.
And embrace collaboration. Connect with other farmers, share what you know, support each other. That community is so important.
And don't forget, don't be afraid to take risks.
Yeah, agriculture is always changing, so you've got to be willing to adapt, to innovate. Those who do will be the ones who truly succeed.
This deep dive has really only been a starting point, but hopefully it's made you curious, inspired you to really get to know Jamaican agriculture.
There's a whole world out there waiting to be discovered. The flavors, the traditions, the potential, it's all there.
So get out there, connect with the land, and be a part of the exciting future of Jamaican agriculture.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time.